Hi guys, welcome. We're going to practice rocket 1 today, trying to keep it as traditional as possible. If you have your own variations, you can always add them. If you want to use blocks, just make sure that you have them around your mat, and we're going to start in a comfortable seat. So once you find your comfortable seat, we're just going to start with 5 breaths of deep ujjayi, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose as well. Trying to create a sound just like the waves of the ocean by engaging the back end of the throat. Try and soften the face muscles, the space between the eyebrows, the eyelids, the cheeks, and the jaw. Allow your shoulders to melt down away from the ears and lengthen your spine. Let's bring the hands into the heart center. Take a long, deep inhale and a long, deep exhale. Blink open your eyes and come into Tadasana at the top of the mat. So in rocket, we always want to keep a little bit of a distance just so that we can place our hands and maybe press up into a handstand. So once you're in Tadasana, feet together, hands by your sides, we're starting with our Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. Inhale, hands all the way up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, open the chest. Exhale, step back, plank. Chaturanga, elbows by your sides. Upward facing dog, point the toes, press the chest up. And exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Make sure you're spreading your fingers and your toes, lengthening your spine. Look to the space between your knees. Two more deep breaths here. One more breath. Inhale, look forward, bend the knees, take 2 big steps all the way forwards. Inhale, Adho Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold forwards. Inhale all the way up to stand, reach the hands up overhead. And exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, lift your heels high, shift the body weight into the hands. Step, jump, or float back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, engage your core. Downward facing dog, hips up and back. 3 deep breaths here. Finding length in the spine. Think about shifting the body weight into the feet. Close the ribs together. Inhale, look forward, bend the knees, step, jump, or float forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale all the way up to stand, reach the hands up overhead. Exhale, Samasthiti. One more inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, shift the body weight into the hands. Step, jump, or float back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. One more. Inhale, look forward, step, jump, or float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale all the way up to stand, reach the hands up overhead. And exhale, Samasthiti. Sun Salutation B. Bend your knees, chair pose. Inhale, press the palms up. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step, jump, or float back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg forwards, warrior 1. Hands up. Exhale, hands down. Step back, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and a downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg forwards, Virabhadrasana, hands up, palms down to the ground, step back, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. Soften the face, find your ujjayi. Inhale, look forward, bend the knees, step, jump or float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, deep fold. Chair pose, Utkatasana, hands up. Exhale, fold forward straight away. Bakasana, or just lift your chest halfway up. Exhale, step, jump or float back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg forward. Warrior 1, hands up. Exhale, hands down. Maybe a step, maybe you jump up to handstand and then chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. Left leg forward, warrior 1. So there are a couple options here for handstands. Hands down to the ground, maybe you just step back, or maybe you jump or float up. Handstand, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and a downward facing dog. So if you're jumping to your handstand, you make sure to not switch the legs in the air. The leg that was at the front is going to land at the back. It can also just be a light hop. Inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Maybe you're jumping into your tuck and then straight into your Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward. Bakasana, or just shift the body weight forwards. Step, jump or float back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg forward. Warrior 1. Maybe this time as you go to your handstands, you're staying. Or maybe you're going to chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. If you're in your handstand, left leg forwards. Warrior 1. Hands up. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Step, jump or float. Maybe you're holding your handstands. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. For another 3. 2. And 1. Inhale, look forward, bend the knees, step, jump or float. Chair pose, hands up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Utkatasana, chair pose. Interlace the fingers, stretch the wrists, sit low. Pull the ribs in. For 2. And 1. Half chair pose, chest to the knees, hands forward. So maybe lift the heels high. Look down to the big toes for 3. Lengthen the spine, pull the belly in. 2. 1. Crow pose. Knees on top of elbows. Look forwards, elbows squeeze into the center. Head down to the ground. Tripod headstand. Legs all the way up. Pike your hips, lower your legs, almost touch the ground, and then sweep them back to your chaturanga. Lift your head up. Upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. Right leg forward, warrior 1. Hands up, interlace the fingers, stretch the wrists. Inner thighs are active. Soften the shoulders, soften the face. 1 more breath. Virabhadrasana 2. Open the hands. Open the back toes to the side. Sit low, engage the inner thighs. Face towards the right fingertips for another 2. And 1. Trikonasana, straighten your right leg, hinge forwards and down. Grab the big toe and press your left hand up. 3 big circles with your left hand. Inhale all the way back, down and up. 2 more, inhale and exhale. 1 more. Inhale, lift all the way up. Parivrita Trikonasana, right hand to the hip, left leg 1 step forward, lengthen the left arm up and twist left hand outside of right foot. Square your hips, press the right hand up, look up, press the pinkies into the ground for 3, 2, 1. Parsvakonasana. Bend your right knee, right hand down, left hand overhead. Maybe bind, maybe half bind. Look over your left shoulder. 3, 2, and 1. High lunge, hands up, lift the back heel up. Parivrita Parsvakonasana. Left elbow outside of right knee, hands to heart center. Maybe 1 hand down to the ground, 1 hand up to the sky, or bind. You can always lower the back knee down for more stability. 3, 2, and 1. Both hands to the ground. Step, jump, or float back. Vinyasa. Upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. Pinchamayurasana. Thumbs together. Elbows to the mat. Left leg lifts. Push the ground. So you can look wherever helps you to look at, finding your drishti, focusing on your core, elevation of the scapula. Another 5. You can always stay in dolphin. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, downward facing dog. Right, left leg forward, warrior 1. Interlace the fingers overhead. Bend your front knee. Try to square the hips. Inner thighs are active. Another 2. 1. Warrior 2. Open the right toes 90 degrees out to the side. Sit down low. Chest above the hips. Look to the front arm. Another 2. And 1. Trikonasana, straighten your left knee. Hinge your hips forwards, trapeze fingers and thumbs. Big toe or any other version. Right hand up. 3 big circles. Inhale and exhale. Drishti on the palm. 1 more. Inhale, lift all the way up. Left hand to the hip, right leg 1 step forwards. Lengthen the right hand up. Inhale. Parivrita Trikonasana. Right hand outside of left foot. Left hand up. Square the hips. Press your left hip back, right hip forward. Another 2. Side angle pose, bend your left knee, left hand outside of the foot. Shuffle your right leg back, right hand overhead. Maybe forearm on the thigh, maybe half a bind or a full bind. Wherever you are, look over the right shoulder. Deep bend in the knee. Another 2. And 1. High lunge, hands up overhead, back heel is lifting. Twist. Maybe elbow outside of thigh, maybe hand to the ground, or maybe a bind. You can always lower the back knee down. Find your drishti, find your breath. 2. And 1. Both hands to the ground. Step, jump, or float back. Vinyasa. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. Pincha Mayurasana. Thumbs together. Elbows to the mat. Right leg up. Find your drishti, find your breath. Push the ground with the elbows. Another 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Slowly release. Downward facing dog. You're going to jump to the end of the mat, so it's like you're jumping forwards, but you're going to use the momentum to take your hands back instead. 2-piece fingers and thumbs, big toes. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deep fold. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, halfway lift. Padahastasana. Palms underneath your feet. Lengthen and fold. Try to shift the body weight forwards. 2. And 1. Inhale, lift. Hands to the hips. Come all the way up to stand. San Francisco twinkle toe. I did not make that name up. So feet together. Hands all the way up. And we lift the heels as high as we can, holding here, trying to find the straightest line that you can hold. We're going to take tiny steps forwards or press up to handstands and walk on your hands. Completely your choice. If you are pressing up, fold forward. Press up. And we're taking tiny steps to the front of the mat. Once you reach the front, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale all the way up to stand, reach the hands up overhead. And exhale, Samasthiti here. Prasarita, we're going to step one leg to the back of the mat. Big toes turn inwards a little bit. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold forward. Palms to the ground, bend your elbows and fold. If your head is touching the ground, try to bring your feet closer to each other so your head is dangling. One more breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lift all the way up. Hands overhead. Hands to the hips, open the chest, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. If you want to take it to your headstand, you can always go there or into a pincha. Otherwise, you're staying here, shifting the body weight forwards to the toes. Another 2. And 1. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale all the way up. Hands up. Interlace the fingers behind your lower back. Open the chest. Inhale, exhale, deep fold. You can go to a shoulder stand here. If you feel safe, you tuck the chin into the chest and roll all the way back to a shoulder stand. If not, you're staying here. Another 3. Inner thighs are active. Pinkies and thumbs are grounding. 2. And 1. Inhale, halfway lift. Open hands out to the sides. Grab it, 2 fingers and thumbs, your big toes. Inhale, open the chest. And exhale, deep fold. Make sure your elbows are in line with the shoulders. And release the shoulders away from the ears. Another 2. And 1. Inhale, halfway lift. Place the palms between your feet. Samakonasana. Big stance, wider stance, or middle split, or you can go into your froggy or any variation that fits for you. Trying to find engagement in your inner thighs. If you feel it in the knees, change your variations. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back on your palms, shorten the stance and return all the way to the back part of the mat. Hanumanasana or half Hanumanasana, anywhere that feels safe for you. For 5, 4, try to stay active with your back toes. 3, 2, and 1. Turn to the center of the mat and all the way to the front of the mat. Hanumanasana or any other variation for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift back to the center. We're going to lower down into a seated straddle. You can do it any other way. I'm going to show pressing up and then going into a Titibhasana, or you can just take the hands between your legs and slowly lower down. Pressing up, keep your straddle, and then slowly start to round as you bring the legs forwards. Continue pushing and sitting in your widest stance. We fold forwards, 2 fingers and thumbs, big toes, and we fold. Try to keep the external rotation in your shoulders. One more breath. And we let anything up. Right hand to the left thigh, side stretch, left hand overhead. Continue grounding through your left sitting bone as you look under the left armpit. So focusing mostly here on your lower back, you can always bend the knees or sit on a block if needed. One more breath. Lengthen all the way up. Switch sides. You don't have to grab the foot. Just any other side stretch could be enough. Maybe you're supporting yourself with the forearm. Another 2. Inhale, lengthen up. Mula Bandha check up, hands on each side of the right thigh. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. Round the spine, pull the leg in, push whatever you can and lift up for 3. You can point or flex the toes, 2, 1. Soften down, other side. Inhale, exhale. Push, round and lift. Deep breaths. And release. One more for the center. Hands between your thighs. You can rock forwards and backwards or just push. Lift whatever you can for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release. Shake. Hands to the front of the mat. Step on your back foot. Slide your front leg all the way underneath you to a plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Now look forward, bend the knees, step, jump or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, Ardha Tadasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up to stand, hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Bring the hands to the hips, step your left leg back, turn all the way back. Parsvottanasana. Namaste behind your back, or grab opposite elbows. Square the hips, inhale, open the chest, and exhale, fold. Engage the quads, another 2, and 1. Inhale, lift all the way up, turn all the way to the front of the mat. Square the hips, open the chest, inhale, exhale, deep fold. Engage the quads, the inner thighs, ground through the pinkies and the big toes. Another 2. And 1. Inhale, lengthen up, open the hands to the sides, step to the front of the mat. Samasthiti. Shift the body weight over to the left foot. Ekapada Angushtasana. Right hand straight forwards. Lift your right leg up. Grab the big toe or the knee. Pull the leg into the body. Lengthen up for 3, 2. Soften the shoulders, 1. Open the right leg to the side. Maybe shift your gaze to the left side, 3, 2, and 1. Pull the right leg back to the center, kiss the knee, lengthen up, keep the right leg up, both hands to the hip, hold, lengthen your spine, 3, 2, 1. Half Padma, half Lotus, or any other variation with the right leg across the left. Maybe you're standing up tall in a tree pose, or maybe you're folding forwards with the bind, right hand behind you, grabbing the big toe, left hand to the ground, and we fold. Keep engaging the left quad, especially if you're sensitive in your hamstring. Make sure you're not locking that knee completely. 3, 2, and 1. Softly bend the left knee, come all the way up to stand. Release the right foot, shake. Other side, right hand to the hip, left hand forwards. Ekapada Angushtasana. Or grab the knee, lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders. 3, 2, and 1. Open the left leg to the left side, shift the gaze to the right side, 3, 2, and 1. Pull the leg back to the center, touch the knee with the forehead, lengthen up, keep the left leg up, both hands to the hip for 3, 2, and 1. Half lotus or any other variation. It could be a figure 4. Maybe you keep standing up, maybe you're folding forwards with a bind or not. For 3, 2, and 1. Softly bend the right knee, come up to stand, release the left leg, shake the hips. Mountain pose, inhale, hands up, exhale, deep fold. Shift the body weight into the hands, lift the heels high, vinyasa, upward facing dog, and a downward facing dog. I'm going to jump through into a seated pose, coming into Dandasana. So either way that you like, you can always use blocks here. Legs are straight in front. I'm going to sweep myself back so you can see me, but your legs will be outside of the mat and that's absolutely fine. Hands by the side of the hips. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Engage the core, lengthen the spine. Flex the toes. You can always softly bend the knees. 2. And 1. Hands up, inhale. Exhale, Paschimottanasana, 2-piece fingers and thumbs, big toes. Open the chest. And fold forward. Shoulders away from the ears. Try to find length from the lower back. Inhale, halfway lift. Change your variation of your hands. Maybe you're taking the palms just on the top of the feet or any other variation. Open the chest and continue folding. One more breath. Inhale, lengthen. Vinyasa. Hands by the sides of the hips. Cross your heels. Lift up, step, jump, or float. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. So there are a lot of jump throughs and back. You can always just hold your Navasana or any other thing that you want in between. We jump up, come all the way back into the seat. For Purvottanasana, hands go 1 step behind your hips, fingers looking forwards, big toes to the mat, lift the hips high, look up or back, push the ground. Another 2. 1 more. Chin to the chest, lower down. You can always step on your feet if it's too much. Cross the heels. Vinyasa your way to a downward facing dog. We're just holding your Navasana. We're jumping forwards into Adha Pada Padmasana. So you can just jump forwards into a seat. Left leg straight, right leg in half lotus. If it doesn't feel right, you can just take the foot on top into a figure 4. Maybe you're going to a bind. And we fold. One more breath. Inhale, lengthen up. Cross the heels. Vinyasa. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. I'm gonna jump over to the other side. Right leg straight, left leg in any variation that doesn't feel painful for the knee. We fold forward. Two more breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Cross the heels. Vinyasa. Upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. Jumping into Triangle Mukta. So you can sit and then get into it. Right leg rotates all the way back. We're sitting inside the heel. You can always open the right knee out to the side. You can stay here or even lean backwards. But if you're comfortable, fold forward. Maybe you're binding. Shoulders away from the ears, great space for your neck. Inhale, lengthen. Vinyasa or Navasana. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Jumping over to the other side. So you can already come into it in your jump if you're able to focus there. And then choose your variation and fold. One more breath. Lengthen up. Cross the heels. Lolasana. Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Jumping to Janu Shirshasana. Right foot inside left thigh. Lengthen up and fold forward. Trying to ground your right knee. One more breath. Lengthen up. Janu Shirshasana, be hands to the heart. Lift your hips high and sit on the right heel. It should be in between your perineum. And we fold forward again. If it doesn't feel comfortable, you simply stay in the first variation. One more breath. Lengthen up. Reverse. Cross the heels so you can just hold your Navasana or Lolasana and do a full Vinyasa. I know it can be quite a lot for the shoulders. So just make sure that you are listening to yourself. If you can jump all the way to a tuck position every time, that's great. And we fold forward. Janu Shirshasana on the other side. Lengthen up, hands to the heart, Janu B. Lift your hips, come a little forwards and fold again. So Drishti, you can just focus on lengthening towards the foot or actually look towards the big toe. There's so many ways to interpret it, and I love to just listen to my own body, understand what works for me. Make sure there's no tension in your neck. Reverse the movement. Vinyasa. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Jumping to Marichyasana A. Step on your right foot, bring it as close to your hip as you can. One palm between the foot and the thigh. Lengthen your right hand forwards, all the way to the right side. Rotate behind you for a bind. You can always just keep your hands open to the sides if that doesn't work for you, or use a strap. Keep flexing the left toes and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Marichyasana C, right hand back, left hand up. Inhale, exhale, twist. So you can stay in an open twist or go to the bind as long as you can still lengthen and breathe there. Lengthen your spine, look over the right shoulder. Use the inhalation for length and the exhalation for a deeper twist. One more breath. Inhale, look forward. Vinyasa. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Jump over to the other side. If you are staying in Navasana, consider sometimes doing half bridges just to open the spine. Marichyasana A. Left hand forwards around the left thigh. You can bind, grab the wrist or just the fingertips. Don't forget to flex the right toes, bringing more awareness into the right leg as well. Inhale, lengthen. Marichyasana C. Left hand back, right hand up. You can stay in the open twist and lengthen, or robot your arm around the left knee. Grab the right hand behind your back and twist. Inhale, look forward. Vinyasa. Don't forget to do any sort of small back bend just to open. Once you're in your downward facing dog, we're going to jump forwards to Navasana and lift and lower 3 times. So we look forward, bend the knees. Come into your Navasana. You can keep the knees bent or even the toes on the ground. Shoulders down and away from the ears. 3, 2, 1. Cross the heels. Lift up. Maybe take 1 step forwards with your hips. Navasana. Shoulders down and away from the ears. 2, 1 more, cross, lift. Last one. And this time, Vinyasa. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. We'll jump forward to a butterfly sit. Inhale, look forward. Feet together. So I'm quite close in my hips. Might not be the best demonstration, but I'm going to do the best that I can. Bring the heels as close to your sitting bones as you can. Open the feet like a book. Lengthen your spine. And try to come forwards with a straight spine. So I might not be able to really lower all the way down, but you might be able to. So don't stop yourself if you can, just as long as you're keeping your spine straight. For 3, 2. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. 1. Inhale, lengthen up. This time, round. Top of the head is trying to touch the feet. For 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen up. Vinyasa. Cross the heel. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Gonna jump forwards into Upavishta Konasana, a straddle seat. Tips, fingers and thumbs, big toes, external rotation of your shoulders, pancake, fold forwards. For 3, 2, 1. So if you can lift up from the ground while holding your toes, go ahead. I cannot, so I'll meet you up there. Grab the big toes, open the chest. 3, 2, 1. We roll all the way back. Keep grabbing your big toes. I'm gonna lift back up into that open leg Navasana situation. So keep holding your big toes. Open your chest. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then fold forwards. You can keep holding onto your toes or release them and re-catch them down again. For 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, lengthen up. Bring your feet together and lower all the way down on the ground. Ekapada Angushtasana Asana, but laying on your back. Ground your left hip bone. Lift the right leg up. Grab your 2 fingers and thumb, your big toe. Lift your head up to the knee. Press the left heel into the ground. 3, 2, 1. Open the right leg to the side. Turn your face to the left side. Keep grounding your left sitting bone to the ground. For 3, 2, 1. Lift it back up to the center, switch legs. Ground your right sitting bone. Lift your head up. 3, 2, and 1. Soften your head down. Open the left leg out to the side. Ground the right sitting bone to the ground. 3, maybe look to the right side. 2, and 1. Pull it back to the center. Release. Ubaya. We're gonna roll both legs all the way over the head. Feet together. 2 fingers and thumbs grabbing onto the big toes. And again, we're going to roll up, catch a high Navasana up in the air. So the trick is to roll the shoulders down in the last moment. Look up. 3, 2, 1. Grab the heels or your shins. Hold it for 3. Shoulders down. 2, 1. Lower all the way down into your half wheel pose, bridge pose. Palms by your sides. Press your hips high. Engaging your hamstrings, your glutes. Press the shoulders into the ground. Maybe interlace the hands underneath you and roll the shoulders together. For 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down. You can continue in your bridge poses or lift up to full wheel 3 times. If you are lifting to wheel, hands by the ears, press up, push the ground with your feet and hands, wrap the armpits towards your ears for 3, 2, 1. Head to the ground. Bring your hands a bit closer to the feet. And we press up again. For 3, 2, 1. One more time, head down. Bring the hands closer to your feet. Lift up for the last wheel. For 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower down. Roll up. Vinyasa. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Pigeon pose. You can enter through a handstand or just bring your right leg forward. If you are going to handstand, step your right leg forward. Lift up to an L shape. Hug the right shin to the chest. And slowly lower down. Fold forward. Make sure there is no pain in the knee. You can stay here or come into a back bend. King pigeon pose. So ideally, flip the grip. You can always use a strap or any other variation with your hands, as long as it doesn't feel uncomfortable for the lower back. Engage your inner thighs. Engage your core, wherever you are. Another 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release. Vinyasa. Other side, so you can step or go into your handstand. And then wrap the left shin in. Slowly bend your elbows to bring the left foot forward. And fold. Come back to your ujjayi if you lost it. You can stay folding forwards or come up to your king pigeon. You can grab the right leg and stay here, maybe go to your mermaid pose or flip. For another 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release. Vinyasa, or just come into your Gomukhasana. So shift the body weight onto the left leg, swing the right leg all the way forwards and over the left knee. So you're sitting between your heels. So the full Gomukhasana is we bind, right hand overhead, left hand from the bottom, and then we fold. If it doesn't feel comfortable, you can always release the hands and just focus on your hips here. You can always sit on a block. Another 2. And 1. So there are 2 transitions here. One of them is on your head, lifting up to your tripod, switch legs in the air. The other one I kind of like. So you're just gonna stand up without using your hands and then continue to turn all the way to the end of the mat through the left side. And once you rotate all the way, you're coming back to the center and you just switch legs. And switch arms. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. For 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen up. Release the hands. Paschimottanasana. Legs straight forwards. Hands up, inhale. And exhale, deep fold. 2-piece fingers and thumbs, big toes, or any other variation that you like. Inhale, lengthen up. Vinyasa. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Last jump through. We're gonna sit in full lotus. You can always stay in half lotus, one leg on top, other leg at the bottom, or just cross your legs. If it's possible, bind your hands, grab the big toes. If not, just grab opposite elbows. Inhale, lengthen your chest, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen up. Grab the knees. Inhale. Lock the throat chakra and hold. Release. Utplatihi, hands by your sides. We try to lift off the mat. Maybe you're lifting one leg, maybe both. For 3, 2, and 1. So you can vinyasa for the last time or just go to your shavasana. I feel like it kind of just makes sense to go into shavasana here. Come to lay on your back and release the hands by your sides. You can stay here for as long as you need. Don't forget to try and meditate after for a bit, or just observe the effects of the physical practice on your mind. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoy this class.